Every direction I turn these days, I see toy lines from my childhood, from my past, getting rebooted, and I gotta be honest, I freaking love it. But there's one line that's missing, and it's not getting enough attention in this era of the reboot. In fact, this is the toy license I think is in most need of a modern reboot. I'm talking full 1/12 scale treatment with new sculpts based on the classic designs, a slew of accessories, and of course, modern articulation. It is my dream, alright, let's be honest, fantasy, to get this license myself and produce the full reboot. What am I talking about? Prepare to find out. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. Together we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerdzoic. On this channel, we try to help you take a much-needed break from the chaos of adulting and embrace the plastic crack we grew up with. In 2023, connecting with that nostalgia is easier than ever thanks to all these modern reboots. I could just sit here and name them all one by one, but it seems like each day, another one's popping up. And as these fandoms pop up, I'm like the Grinch when his heart grew bigger because he needed to eat the roast beast or something. I love it. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm a toy retailer, right? But I would love to be part of the toy creation business. But yeah, that's a little out of my wheelhouse. But I'm gonna just kind of imagine here. Like the John Lennon song, imagine all the people. We're just imagining toys. Now, someday I'd love to conceive my own modern toy line, but frankly, there's a lot of that going on right now. Like, honestly, I'm not an art guy. I can't sculpt anything, I can't paint anything, but I am a pretty good storyteller. And really, that's just because I grew up on these stories and I know what kind of stories I would like to hear. But putting aside like a ground up creation of my own, I would actually prefer to pull like a NECA or a Nichelle and acquire licenses of long dormant products and reboot them. But if I could get one of these licenses, what would it be? And how would I do it? Well, first, let's pretend that I made Big Nerdy's toy line, okay? Yes, of course I would sell them myself at the Big Nerdy store, well, Nerdzoic, of course. Branding. First off, this might surprise people, but even as a retailer, I would not make them exclusive to just me because, frankly, I want the line to grow. So I would give everybody a taste, except for maybe Toy Snowman. He probably doesn't get any because of him trying to break into the nerdies last year.
He sent me an invite! He sent me an invite! I was down!
Now, before I go into my idea and what I want to do, there are some other licenses I thought about and I kind of want to talk about them for a moment. Now, I gotta give a quick disclaimer. I gotta be honest, my gut tells me that, let alone me, nobody is going to get this license. But then again, if you would have asked me like 5 years ago if people like Super 7 were going to get licenses to do G.I. Joes or Power Rangers, I'd have been like, no, of course Hasbro won't do that, but here we are. So maybe someone's going to get this license. And before I get into like my big idea here, let me tell you some of the runners-up, because I had a couple ideas here, because I really just sat there and said, what would I make if I could make anything? My first thought was actually Dino Riders, because I feel like it is a toy line that can't fail. If you do it in a modern style, people would be drooling at the renders alone. The problem is scale. To do this right, you're going to need to produce some big old dinosaurs, and that means big old seed money. That alone tells me non-starter. Another franchise I would love to be able to kind of like relaunch is Harry Potter. I know, listen, calm down, it's not an 80s or a 90s franchise, but it's a modern franchise that has just never done right. I never cared for the Mattel product when the movies came out. McFarlane did an okay job, but limited articulation and that 7-inch scale makes it non-definitive to me. NECA released a handful of figures back in 07, and they look great, but they never really got going. I guess they just had license for like, I don't know, 5 figures. If done correctly, this could be a money printing machine. This is dying for like the full 1/12 scale soft goods treatment for all the movies, including the Beast movies and all. And as I was thinking about this, I realized this sounds like a Mezco. So yeah, I don't need this license, but WB, if you guys need money, you better call Mezco up and be like, yo, can you guys make us some toys? We're broke. Another franchise I thought of was Mighty Max. In fact, we're gonna call that my runner-up. Mighty Max toys were produced in the UK and were basically like the boy version of Polly Pocket. The toys were compact, handheld little playsets that kids could open up to reveal miniature worlds with various themes like dungeons, monsters, aliens, and more. Each set typically came with a little mini figure, and the playsets were designed for imaginative play and adventure. These were popular toys during the 90s, and they offered a unique play experience for kids, and I should know, I was one of them. The cartoon was pretty darn good too. It was really dark for that time period, plus Tim Curry on the voice cast, enough said. The problem is, because the figures themselves were just little minifigures, not full-on action figures, this line might not capture that nostalgic feeling. That said, this was really close to being my choice because some of the characters would be amazing in modern action figure form. Think about Norman, Skullmaster, Warmonger, Lava Lord, Cyber Skull, Spike, and the chicken guy Virgil. foul, actually. The more I think about it, I'm kind of talking myself into Mighty Max being the pick, but no, I had a plan, we're sticking to it. Because nostalgia wins, and that means the toy line I'm bringing back is Cops and Crooks. I know, it's the least kept secret in all of Nerdzoic land. In fact, 2 days ago, I actually got like an ad on Amazon for the complete series, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much? $6! Yeah, I bought the whole series for $6. Might still be for sale, go grab it. Okay, before I tell you exactly what I'm thinking here, let's acknowledge that Cops has gotten some attention of late. Fresh Monkey Fiction, they did a little set of minifigs on a limited run of just 1,000 that was exclusive to BBTS. There was supposed to be a DLC pack for Grand Theft Auto Online, but sadly it got scrapped for undisclosed reasons, which made me sad. Then, in June 2023, Fresh Monkey Fiction and Chicken Fried Toys announced a full reboot, but it's in 1/18 scale. That's great. But that is not the modern scale these days, folks. I want this in 1/12 scale, or 1/11 scale even. Now, a quick history here on Cops. It was written in 1988, and it takes place in the year 2020, so 3 years ago. What happened in 2020? I feel like there was some significant stuff. Well, it wasn't this. This probably would have been better. A national cartel headed by the ever-elusive Big Boss is responsible for much of the criminal activity going on. He has enlisted some of the nation's most notorious crooks to do his bidding. Mayor Davis seeks federal help, and he brings in an injured FBI special agent, Baldwin P. Vess, codename Bulletproof. Now, Vess is more machine than man, actually, though he's not evil. After a car accident, he got a cybernetic bulletproof torso, and he enlists local officers and assembles a team of skilled law enforcers from across the nation called Cops. Not very creative in the naming department. Together, they work to defeat Big Boss and his gang, thwarting their criminal plans. All right, nuts and bolts here. How would I do this? And again, I'm going to try to keep this realistic, even though I'm just completely making this crap up and dreaming in my head. I do 6.5-inch scale, animated style with heavy dark line work, kind of like NECA's TMNT animated figures. The original line was known for their single-person vehicles, which is perfect for this scale because you can actually do it. Unlike things like Star Wars, where you're not making a 1/12 scale Millennium Falcon because you don't have a house to put it in. Now, in the old days, a lot of toys came with mini comics, and I loved that, but we're past that. So now what should we do? My idea? QA codes. QA? QR? QC? I don't know. It's a Q code. All right, catch this. So back in the old days, we used to get mini comics with our figures to introduce us to the characters and the world around them. But here's what I would do. We'd have some kind of like a little barcode scanning QR code thing, which you could scan and it would take you to a video bio of each character. Now, the bio would be a combination of remastered old footage and stop motion of the figures. And of course, I'd hire the incredible DJ DX Animation to do that stop motion because that dude is nuts. The line would have a heavy accessory focus with modern versions of the original accessories. I literally have to hire someone to sit down and rewatch the entire run just to get all the accessories right. Nope, I'll just do that myself. I'm already halfway there. I'd structure the releases in waves of 4 and try to spread them out, cognizant that this stuff costs money and there's a lot of stuff coming out all the time. Each wave would be 2 good guys, 2 bad guys, and a vehicle. Wave 1, we're going to do Bulletproof because that guy has always had a special place in my heart. About a couple of days before my first brother was born, my mom and my dad went all throughout Philly looking for this figure because you couldn't find it anywhere until they finally found it, and I still remember getting him for the first time after all the time hunting. Ah, it felt great. Aside from Bulletproof, we're also going to get Officer Bowser and Blitz, one of my favorite designs, and I always love the dog. Then we're going to need our bad guys. We're going to start off with Dr. Bad Vibes because I've always loved that character design. And of course, you got to have Big Boss. It's like a fat Al Capone. And then the vehicle here is going to be the Ironsides. Let's move on to Wave 2. We're going to start off with 2 iconic villains, Rock Crusher and Louie the Plumber. Thwarting their criminal plans is Highway, which is David Harrelson, and Longarm. The vehicle in Wave 2 is going to be the Dragster, which I also have fond memories of. Wave 3, we're going Barricade, Sundown, Buttons McBoom Boom, and Berserko. I love these names, guys. For the vehicle, let's go with an ATAC, aka an Armored Tactical Assault Car, not to be confused with an AT-AT. My final wave would consist of Mainframe, Sergeant Mace, Hyena, and Turbo Two-Tone, and at last, the Roadster. Realistically, in my imagination here of me creating this, I do a crowdfund style. It would probably have to be around the $200,000 funding period for the first wave. The vehicle's the question mark. I have no idea what that would cost to make. When it comes down to pricing these, I try to do it very similar to Valiverse. I feel like his price point is like spot on. The only problem is I'd also have to pay a licensing fee, which he doesn't have to pay because he has his own IP. Probably like $35, $36 $6 a figure. For stretch goals, I love a hardcover toy guide of the original toy line, signed by as many people involved with the original production as possible. Pixel Dan, you're pretty good at making these books, so you're hired. What do you mean it didn't even apply? And I hear my wife yelling at me that it's time to mow the lawn, so that means reality is setting in and reminding me that this has all just been a fantasy. Odds are, this isn't ever gonna happen. I'll never get to make this line. Hasbro's probably not gonna let somebody else make this line. They're just gonna sit on that license forever. But you have rights, people, or at least the Constitution says you do, and I know that probably doesn't make sense in context, but watch this video and it's gonna make perfect sense, I promise. And remember, you gotta get old. You don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Later.